imposible. Hay noches en que puedes estar tranquilo, que no pasa absolutamente nada. En cambio, de pronto, ¿sabes? Te encontrás con una situación como esta. ¡Cállense!
Hoy puedes sentir que el universo le debe algo. Sin embargo, nadie tiene que sacrificarse para ayudarlo. Deberá salir solo y airoso de esta situación deprimente.
¡Mauricio!
Maxi, first off, you've been getting this question asked a lot of times, but I think one of the great things about doing an independent film is, I think, finding the perfect location. And can you just talk about finding that perfect location for Last Matinee, and how hard was it to find, and how lucky were you because you have so much space to work with as a filmmaker, and that must have really excited you as far as just for your compositions and the overall narrative layout for your project.
Yeah, thanks. That's a good question, and actually, the location was the inspiration. So that's how it happened. It came first. This location, this movie theater, is a very old movie theater from the city, from Montevideo, that I went as a kid. And what happened was I shot a commercial there years ago, and sort of came to me that this was wow, this place feels like it has to. There's a movie here. There's a horror movie that needs to be told. And years later, so I scouted the location for writing the screenplay. So we searched it for look around, went to all the little cracks of it, and get to know every inch of it. And so that's how it happened. There's another aspect also, is that there's another location that we combined to make this very much believable 90s old theater. And there's another theater that we shot the exteriors, like the ticket booth, the gallery, the stairs, and the city street, the marquee, and all that. That's another one. And so I combined them, but the whole thing came from this theater. It was an inspiration.
You know, growing up, as you were the little boy in the theater, just wondering about your own influences. Did you grow up maybe I'm wrong, watching a lot of early giallo, like, for example, from Argento or Mario Bava? Because what I find interesting is, even though there's so many cinephiles who love giallo cinema, it's still an underrated genre, in my opinion, because people are scared of all the slasher stuff. But I try to tell people it has some of the most beautiful visual compositions you'll ever see in cinema. Is that one of the many reasons why giallo is probably one of your many influences as a filmmaker and as a cinephile?
Yes, it's this movie. When we started developing, we decided that it was going to be like a marriage between. It's a slasher. I'll make this clear. It's not a giallo. It's a neo-giallo. It can be called a neo-giallo. It has a giallo scent to it. It's inspired visually by it, but it's more like a slasher. And as a kid, I was very much into, I was influenced, and I saw just American movies and slashers. And later on, more like in my late teens, I found the giallo. It was later on. It wasn't, maybe I saw a little Mario Bava when I was a kid. I got really scared, and I saw just a couple movies from Argento, but it wasn't the ones that, that I was growing up with, because we didn't get those. You had to kind of search them in Uruguay. The thing is, what I really wanted to pick up is that giallos are the father of the slashers, and in the subgenre of horror. They kind of like, they come first as the inspiration. And there's the visual aspect, the creativity of it, the poetry of it. It's quite unique, and in a way, the movies, the most of the giallos are not taking in a way seriously or something, like artistic. So I mean, most of them just like no, I mean in the main audience. So I wanted to just to make a really visually competent movie, horror movie that combined that inspiration, just to make it just very rich visually with that inspiration.
You know, a lot of filmmakers when they're coming up, really great filmmakers, they'll cast other directors in their films to act in. And what was that like as far as your bond with Ricardo? You know, not just casting him, but seeing his work there up on the screen. And what is the connection you have with him, and what was that collaboration like? So this is pretty much a movie lover's dream with the Last Matinee.
Yes, that was crazy. That came to be. I knew him because I mean he lives in Chicago for a long time. He's been there, and he came a couple times to Uruguay, and I met him, and yeah, he's absolutely unique in Uruguay. There's none who have made this filmography and completely independently. And since he started when he was a teen and with no resources. There were no way to finance movies in Uruguay, and when I had the first draft of the script, it came to me as a revelation that this villain had to be played by Ricardo. And I sent him the script and I told him, and then he told me this was my life dream. I always made movies because I wanted to be I wanted to be the villain. I wanted to be the monster. He wanted to play that character. So I gave him his dream character, or just his dreamed role for a movie. So that was something. And he came to shoot, and we were shooting the movie. This is a very low budget film. So once he came, about 13 hours later, we were doing a shot. So I was I talked to him, but I didn't do any rehearsals, and so he went on immediately. So that was something, and he was and the whole crew was very impressed when we were doing some of the scenes. Everybody was just like very, very shocked by his performance.
I really appreciated how the third act, without giving too much away, it's pretty much wall to wall tense, and you're really biting your nails and wondering what's going to happen until the ending, where I think it's just pure visual artistry. But can you talk about holding off and doing a slow build with the story before getting to that? Because a lot of filmmakers would have probably wanted to show all of that explosive stuff right from the get-go, but you decide to actually not insult your audience and pull us slowly in. Talk about that creative choice.
Yes, that's it was, I guess, the classical approach of the film and the story. How it was constructed was a slow burn. It was like, get to know. I mean, I had to, even though this is a slasher, I needed to build up this world, and I wanted to make it, even though it's a fantasy, I wanted to go back to this 90s and make it very much rich and believable, and just have some patience with the narrative. And it was kind of like, actually, a bit of a struggle with the producers when I was editing. We cut like 10 minutes because it was too much. I agree. There was some parts that were a little too much, but I kind of like that. I like that you are immersed in a way. Also, the slow burn connects with the time of the 90s, because that was a slower time. It was just, we weren't like all the time here and there, and the computers and just overly stimulated, and movie theaters were just like a social playground. Just it was like going in to have a social experience, and I wanted to capture that. I wanted to capture that as a time travel in a way. I like that. And then after, and the other thing was, this is a movie that is it has a time limit. It sort of happens within the projection of another movie. So it's about, everything happens in around 2 hours. So I like the idea to have a sort of real time feel to it in a way. So that's how it came to be. So and I like that at the end it just gets going. It happens to get going by the end.
Thank you for your time, Max. I have to let you go as you're leaving right now. Very quickly, quick answer: favorite De Palma film and why?
Wow, Blow Up, I guess. Yeah, I had another project. Actually, the project that I couldn't produce. There was a drama very much inspired by that movie, and that's a underrated De Palma movie. That's it's amazing. It's about filmmaking also. So I love that. I love Travolta in it, and it's I'll say that. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck with your film.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, take care, man.